obviously what happened was we raised enough money to set up our first data center, and within 6 months of setting it up and starting business, the .com crashed, Exodus crashed in the US, Globix crashed, so people thought that the data center market is dead, nobody wanted to touch us, and access to capital became virtually impossible from 2001 to maybe 2005. And so we, fortunately, as I said, we were just turning the corner at that time. So, typical data center takes about 13 months to break even, become cash flow positive, and we just turned the corner in time. We grew, we were very conservative, so we grew this business organically and filled this data center, the single data center we had in Bombay, to about 95% utilization. Normally utilization is 70 to 80%, doesn't go beyond that, but and also added a whole slew, the innovation we did at that time was, added a whole slew of managed services products which were not prevalent in the Indian market, whether it was managing your backups, firewalls, or, various security related services, managing operating system databases, sending automatic alerts to customers if something went down. So all of that was set up during this time, and the business started generating a lot of cash. And then we had accumulated about 25 crores of cash in the bank, and we then set up 2 small data centers. Just initial investment of 10 crores each in 2 data centers, one small one in Bombay, one in Bangalore. And at that time we wanted to, at that time we then looked for a second round of funding.
So when was it?
This was in, we set this up in 2006, 2007, and then looked for funding. So we had a term sheet in 2007. We were rejected at that time by some venture capitalists, some well-known names, but Nexus showed faith and decided to invest in us. By then they had bought over the eVenture stake. Nexus was set up, I think, around that time. They bought over the eVenture stake that existed, and also they invested a fresh round, and we also got Fidelity Ventures. And this was another, we were lucky because we got this at the peak of valuations. 2007, October was the term sheet signed. At that time the markets were at the all-time high, and by the time our deal closed in 2008 Jan, and in 6 months the whole market crashed. So, when I was doing my third round, I said, look, the first round I did, and the market crashed. Second round I did, market crashed. So I told my investors, short the market after I did my third round. So this was in 2000, we did that third round in 2010, 2011. By then our foreign investors in the company were more than 49%, so we had to go through FIPB approval, which took 6-7 months. So the third round, so after doing 2 rounds of funding, and the company was growing nicely, it was almost 50% year-on-year growth. We then decided, the investors felt that, look, in 2 years you can go public. They looked at the multiples available and said, look, we should be able to go public in 2 years. And we said, no, let's do an interim round with strategic investors. So we brought in Cisco and Nokia. Cisco Capital and Nokia Growth Partners invested in 2010. They signed the term sheet in October 2010, but actually the money came in 2011. So we did another $12 million round in 2011. And the aim was to take the company public. And then around that time, there were a whole bunch of M&A activity that happened in our space. So Verizon acquired Terramark, Savvis got acquired. These are the global players. Then there was a Chinese company, 21Vianet, which did a blockbuster IPO, all in our space. And suddenly there was a whole bunch of foreign players looking at entering the space in India. And we were the only ones they could talk to, because you can't acquire Tatas, you can't acquire Reliance, you can't acquire Airtel. Sifi was already public, so difficult to acquire. So we were the only pure play data center player that somebody could acquire.
Enviable sweet spot position.
Yeah, sweet spot positioning, exactly.
So, so the initial plans you said were for
going public.
But then, so that was also one avenue which you could have taken. So
yeah, the reason we didn't take that avenue was one, as I said earlier, we're an Indian company, so we had to list in India, not the US. Nasdaq was valuing our companies like us, companies like Rackspace in the US, Equinix in the US, at very, very high multiples, right? But Indian companies, when we spoke to investment bankers in India, they said you won't get the same valuations in India because they look, ours is a capital intensive business, so while we generated healthy EBITDAs, after depreciation, our profit was like, 5%, in that range. So they said that, look, Indian markets look at bottom line, and while they will factor some growth, because there's not been any player like you in the Indian space that's gone public. SIFI was long time, and SIFI also had the whole .com piece associated with it, SIFI.com piece. So there was really no pure play internet data center company, managed IT services company that had gone public. So they said that, look, you may either get lucky and people value well, or you may actually not get a very good. So the valuation numbers that they gave us were half of what we actually got when NTT acquired us. So, and the investors felt that, look, the market's not being so good. If you look at the last 3 years, anybody who's put money in their markets in the last 3 years have really not made any returns. So, so basically the markets were not conducive, and our investors felt that, look, when 4 or 5 companies approached us at the same time, and these included global players like Equinix, and Cisco themselves were interested being an investor in the company, and a few other global players. They said that, look, this is the right time to exit.
So
that's what we decided.
So, given that you said that after your first round, around 2003, that's when the market crashed?
2000,
after that?
Yeah, 2001 the market crashed, then 2008 the market crashed.
And now you have
2011 the market didn't crash.
So that's what I was coming to, that, if you, given that you've had your third round, it's not really a round, but money coming in, should we look forward to, is that a tip, is that an omen of where the market is going to go next?
This happened in, again, Jan of 2012, and but again we had to go through FIPB approval, so we got our, the actual deal closed in end of August. So, but either, so now we've had 2 rounds where the markets have not crashed. The Cisco Nokia round, the market didn't crash, and even the entity round, hopefully, the market is stable.
Every alternate round that it crashes either. So this time, we should probably look forward to the market not crashing. That gives all of us a cue on how we should play the market.
One can't tell the Indian government, right? You don't know whether they'll lose power or not. So it all depends on the political situation.
The Indian political situation, the elections in the US, a lot of things lined up on the political front.
I think elections in the US won't impact us. Both are good candidates. When you see them debating, and you see our politicians, you say, I don't know how many of you saw the Romney-Obama debates, right? They're so amazing, the quality of debates and stuff. I'm sure there's a little corruption there as well, but here there is. You see our guys fighting on 50 crore girlfriend versus
priceless. Yeah. So the issues are different, but what I also meant by the US election is, if Obama were to lose and Romney were to win, then Bernanke probably goes, and Bernanke goes means there's no Kiwi anymore, right? That means liquidity drying up. Off topic, but a lot of things that.
Yeah, but outsourcing will be better, right?
So help us understand. You had just started. Around the 2000 bust that happened in the industry. So how did you weather that storm, right? I think there is also some interesting. There's an unfortunate event which happened a year or 2 later. Yeah. But how things can affect business in the most unexpected ways.
So I think the credit. We were very conservative, as I said. At that time, when we went through Bombay, right, every single billboard had a sign of a .com. I remember the popular names that time. One was myiris.com, one was bdiff.com, one was home shop India or something, homeindia.com. I don't know, half of them don't exist. I think most of them don't exist. Bdiff is an exception. But everybody was wasting money by putting, because in B2C you have to spend money on marketing, but we didn't do any newspaper ads or any billboards at that time. We were very conservative with our cash, and I think a large credit goes to my co-founder Dhanesh, who was very, very conservative in spending, right? And negotiated very hard with vendors and suppliers, and so that's the reason why because we were fiscally prudent, we managed to, withstand the bust. In fact, the only bad debts we had during the .com bust were eVenture portfolio companies, because they were the only ones we gave credit to, because they're funded by our investors, like Chai Time and others, right? Whereas all the other companies, we may have lost their business, but we didn't lose a lot of money, because we had we had collected the